Alright, Will Smith, I'm gonna forget all about what you did at the Oscars a while ago and see what you have in store for me for this live-action thriller entry. Yo, what is up, my Cinedroids? G to the S here. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Gemini Man, starring Henry Brogan, played by, like I mentioned earlier, the slap-heard round-the-world Will Smith himself, who's an elite 51-year-old assassin who's also ready to call it quits after completing his 72nd job. His plans get turned upside down when he becomes a target of a mysterious operative who can seemingly predict his every move. To his horror, Brogan soon learns that the man who's trying to kill him is a younger, faster clone version of himself, played by Victor Hugo. Now, let me go out on a limb here and say that I don't think this is as bad as everyone says it is. But at the same time, it's not that good of a movie either. There are some elements that I enjoyed in the film, but before I get into that, let me touch on some of the negatives of the film first. Number one, the story and execution is nothing original at the very least. It's Mission Impossible meets with a hint of James Bond, mixed in with something out of Taken 2, which is a very bad movie, but you get my drift here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way they executed the story, it felt like it was taken from those movies, no pun intended, and they fused them all into one. Or at least that's how I see it anyway. Even the characters felt a bit cookie cutter. You got James Wong from Doctor Strange in this movie, but he plays your typical Luther Stickle role. You got Mary Elizabeth Winstead as your partner in crime to help the main character along with his journey, and you got the mustache-twirling villain, played by Clive Owen, who wants to clone other versions of other people, just to have a new human population in the world. Jeez Louise, another villain who wants world domination. In terms of character development, when will Hollywood ever learn that you don't need these types of villains in movies? You have to have a villain who is different, but you also have layers to the main villain. He has to have a tragic, dark past that makes him a villain. They put no time and effort into developing this guy whatsoever. He's just there for the sake of doing main villain tactics with exactly no purpose. No rhyme or reason at all. Such a shame. Now, in terms of the film's dramatic and emotional moments, even in terms of the direction coaching by the same guy that did the 2003 Hulk movie, Ang Lee, I wouldn't say that it's one of his best directed works that he's ever done. But he didn't do that bad of a job coaching his actors to give so much emotion in the film either. There are moments where Will Smith gives an emotional conversation to Victor Hugo's character, and I'm not gonna lie, it was done pretty well. And it did surpass his directing choices when he did the Hulk, but I feel like it's the tone of this film that felt a bit off for me. For a movie called Gemini Man, you have to make it at least a bit more comedic and at least more over the top than that. Now, you don't have to go too over the top for this particular concept, but just make it outrageous enough for us to understand. And also for us to say, okay, I get it. This is a ludicrous concept. I can roll with that. But when you decide to make this movie a bit more serious than to have fun with your concept, it just makes it a bit more boring than fun. Now, it's not to say that there were no good elements that make it worth it. Like, for example, the action sequences in this film look very gritty and painful to watch, but in a good way. I mean, some are more ridiculous than others, but they were fun to watch regardless. The camera work and the cinematography looks good. There's no shaky cam in it, so that's a huge plus for me. Now, as for the CGI as well as the film's use of practical effects, there was more practical effects than CGI, which is fine by me, but when there are scenes that do require CGI, they don't look as bad as I expected them to look, but at the same time, it's a bit obvious at this point that they did use CGI for a few scenes in this film. I'm honestly not that surprised whatsoever. But still, I gotta give huge props to Paramount Pictures and the people at Skydance for utilizing their set design and practical effects instead of doing green screen CGI effects all the time. But still, other than that, at the end of the day, it still doesn't change the fact that the film Gemini Man still suffers from the lack of story, also character development, and the execution that bogged the film down and grinded to a disappointing halt. It's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen or anything. I'm just a bit underwhelmed throughout the whole entire film. That's all. And as a result of all that, I rate Gemini Man a 2.5 stars out of 5. I thought the movie was just okay for what it is. But still, if you don't want to watch this movie, skip it if you want, but it's not going to emotionally embarrass you or any of the sort. Just a plain all action movie that is made to watch at home. That's all. So Gemini Man, have you seen it? If you have, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Answers down below, please. Also, if you like this video and you want to see some more, make sure that like button shines in your face. That'll totally help me out a ton. Also, share it with your family and friends and favorite it. That's a very good way to show support for this review. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell right next to you so you can be notified of future videos that I have in store for you. Also, if you want a shout out in a future video, just follow me on Instagram and I will choose one of my Cinedroids to be displayed as a shout out. The link's in the description below. Also, I set up a Patreon page for you guys where you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I understand. But if there's a rare chance that you are interested in doing so, there will be a link in the description so that way you can visit my page and gain access to up to 4 membership tiers. On my page, I post reviews a week early before you get to see them posted on this channel. I also plan to do book reviews, nerdy fan polls, and while you're at it, I'm going to be doing TV show episodes / movie reactions on my page as well. So if that's your cup of tea, go to the link below, become a patron, and let's get to know each other a bit more. Also, if you want to subscribe to my gaming channel, there's either a link in the description or at the icon card at the top right corner of your screen. Go over there, subscribe, and let's just have fun together. Also, if you want to subscribe to my GS Productions After Dark channel, where I do reviews of mature rated movies, games, and TV shows on that channel, even though my commentary for them is family friendly regardless, there will be a link in the description so that way you can check out that channel if you're feeling frisky. But until then, I'll see you next time. Peace out.